What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and welcome back to the preseason week one recap for the Giants versus the Vikings. We're going to be brushing off some of the cobwebs there, getting ready for, which I can't believe, our fifth full season on the channel. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We're glad to have you. Super stoked for feeling like we're finally back to unbridled Giants optimism, something that has fell flat on our face for us the last few seasons. So I'm not going to go too into the nitty gritty details on in videos like this. After games, we rewatch the highlights posted to the NFL's YouTube channel, and we break them down and we talk about various takeaways from the game. So with that, let's dive into it. And for this one, I'm probably going to be talking a little bit more than just really like breaking down plays. There are some things that I want to speak about, especially like the Jaxson dart hit and everything. But I think positives right off the bat were, let's talk about the offense. Very lackadaisical. The run defense, so let's get started there, I guess, because this opening drive, the Vikings ran right down the Giants' throat, and it looked very similar to what we have seen the previous years. But I think we have to take this a little bit with a grain of salt, knowing that DJ Reader and Harris weren't really playing in this moment. And they're kind of penciled in as starters, even though Darius Alexander did play through this and into the third quarter as well. And I thought Darius Alexander did a pretty decent job. But I think, it's just one thing that's in the inside linebackers. Those guys are to come ready to play this year between Arvell Reese, Micah McFadden, Tremaine Edmonds, who we didn't see today, and then Jack Elliott. Like, is this the deepest inside linebacking crew that we've seen from with the Giants? Look at this play from Arvell Reese here. So let's just get started. Arvell Reese, the play is coming his way. What do they have? One tight end on the backside. They're going away from the tight end. Like, it looks like a little zone stretch. Bam. Look at that leverage right there. Plows into the fullback, blows him up, and then still get 5 yards on it, but it's a good rep. See what happens here. A little bit of a trouble trying to figure out if 13 was going to block him or not. But I think here's the thing to Darius Alexander. Just that's why teams run zones and stretch plays. Like, this is an inside zone, like cutback. Like, if this is open, he could bang it up here, but he has the lane. They have the tight end blocking back here. And then you see this is the perfect running lane. I guess Arvell Reese was influenced too, so this is a little bit more space here. Let me just go back to the beginning of this play because I do want to see what happens with Darius Alexander. His key is that they're coming towards him. He looks like he's trying to get reach, so he wants to play the outside a little bit, and then just gets a little bump, and then, great block by 74, pushing out, and then getting a hat on Thibodeau. So good blocking, good, well-designed play from the Vikings. But this is something that the Giants are going to see a lot of this year, and the thing that does concern me in general here is if we might not be able to see our pass rush if teams are going to run down our throats again. Total amount of rushing yards for Minnesota in this one was 27 carries for 111 yards. So it did look eerily similar to what we saw a lot of last year and the year before. SOS, same old shit, which is a little unfortunate. But again, Edmonds wasn't in there, and some key interior defensive tackles as well. So it is what it is. I did love to highlight here Cam Scattaboo, 4 carries, 19 yards with a long of 7. But more importantly, it felt like Cam Scattaboo was back to what I don't want to say 100%, but he was throwing stiff arms. He was, look at this guy. He's likely get going here, but Cam Scattaboo felt like he's back on the right track here, which was huge. Let's see what happens on this sack here. So they were bringing a lot of pressure here. Look, all the defenders on left side, my head might be covering some of it, but they are kind of just playing the sticks at 3rd and 10. This is also a route where they're playing at the sticks, which gives them the freedom to see what's coming towards them. I mean, this is a pretty bang easy play for the linebacker to say, okay, if he's not immediately, going deep or going out, he's probably coming in somewhere, whether it be a slant or click slant, in route, post. And then he reads that, and he also is reading where Dart looks. The running back has to play the blitzing edge rusher or whoever that was coming up there. And then, there's just too many white jerseys for one guy in blue. So good play by Dart, not forcing it, obviously, because that had Daniel Jones interception, pick six territory all over it. And he takes a sack. So I think it's just clearing up, figuring, I mean, it's Matt. It's hard to know what the Giants have installed from an offensive perspective, but you would like to see your quarterback or the system that he's in start to play out a little bit better. I think it's more of a system thing in terms of like, hey, I know I only have one route, especially if someone's coming hot off the edge. I have Tracy who has to block. Then if they're not man to man, there's only one option here, and that option's covered. So he's got to be. I mean, tried to work back, but I mean, there's just nothing there. So 3rd and 10, your sophomore quarterback takes a sack early on. Giants were sacked 4 times for 29 yards. Even though they got 2nd and 9 here, love to see my boy Micah McFadden chugging along. Let's go back to the beginning of this play. Lined up nicely. And he's just flying up. Once he gets that read from 65, he sees a guard pulling. The toss is on, and he's flying. Look at this. He doesn't get there. Maybe, they might say, hey, try to get outside around that guard or try to blow up the guard back into him, force 21 back inside. Look how many bodies we have here. But, this is things that are going to have to be fleshed out in this training camp, this preseason. But I am so happy to see Mike McFadden back, and his great interview with Bruce Beck. It's hard not to root for the guy, even though I don't know if I think we'll see him play a lot, even if he's not a starter, because I think they need a rotation here. 2nd and 2. This is a weird, wonky play that I didn't really like too much. I don't know if there's an option on this as well. Maybe they're testing it out there, but the timing looks a little bit off in the jet sweep. Who's that? Calvin Austin's already by. Theo Johnson not really blocking anyone. And then was this Jamal Adams who came through? I think the play for Adams here is, I think he's just, once the jet's going, I think he just, where is he? Right here. Yeah, he just, once the jet went the other way, he just flew up, and no one to account for him when that guy blitzes or fills the gap based on that scheme. I think he did go off with an injury in the 2nd quarter, which is unfortunate for Blitz Boy. But good pressure, or a good pocket for the most part. Isaiah Likely, 2nd, 3rd down reception of the game. Isaiah Likely finished 2 for 11, so 6 targets. Tyrone Tracy obviously has a big whiff coming up here. So let's talk about this one in some detail here. Dart goes to the medical tent, comes back. There's a touchdown, but let's just look at it here from a scheming perspective. Tyrone Tracy has to have the most dangerous man. There is a blitzer coming. Even if he has a free release, this guy is just coming with such a head of steam that he has to get a piece of him, or maybe he just blows the assignment and does it. It seems like what he does is way too late, right? Because when he tries to block, like, oh shit, he's actually coming. He's not trying to play me. Puts his foot into the grass, slips, gets quarterback killed. The quarterback thinks he has protection, because even if someone's blitzing, the running back should be there to at least get a hit on him, because it's not like this is a free release from Tracy just based on where Dart is actually looking. Dart thinks he has protection on his right side. If it was a free release and this guy blitzed, Dart would be looking. Dart would pick that up and see Tyrone Tracy Jr. would be going, screaming into the flat, screaming, I'm hot, 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 hot. Put his hand in the air, calling for the ball, and Dart would just dink it over the top. That doesn't happen here. There's a complete miscommunication, but the person and point of blame here is our boy, Tyrone Tracy Jr. This is something that will get fixed. I mean, this is year 3 for him. It's not like we had this. He was a huge issue the last 2 seasons, which makes me think this was like a quick mental error and but unfortunate with young quarterbacks and just quarterbacks in general at any age. You can't be giving up free hits on them. That kind of in the early on in the game, they set the tone. And then, for the rest of what happens if something bad did happen here, knock on wood. But so that's this play. It's unfortunate, but this is something that they will surely be talking about tomorrow. Devin Singletary will be taking looks at this. Scadaboo will take a look at this Turbo. Miller, Eric Gray, everyone who will be in the halfback position will have to understand fully and be capable of understanding pressures, where they're coming from. Then they have to chip and release, or what their assignment is, because this is a failure, but it happens. It just sucks to happen in the first quarter of a brand new season with your sophomore quarterback. And there's a reason why Dart didn't see it coming. That guy's supposed to be blocked. Jameis comes in, and then they have this crazy scream here. Who is this fixing his elbow pads in the middle of the play? I love that. This is why I love watching the film highlights here, because you could find funny things. Giants getting all of their $4.5 million out of Devin Singletary and a nice preseason play here. I got to tell you, 3rd and 23, thought I would have, I am a betting man. If you were to ask me to gamble on this, I would have said that here comes a draw. They do a little slip screen out of the backfield, invite everyone upfield, and kudos to Singletary. He makes a hell of a play here, making men miss. Almost looked like it became a punt return very quickly, which I didn't know that was in Devin Singletary's repertoire. Okay, so Dart checks back into the game on 2nd and 12. Good pocket, clean pocket. Unbelievable catch by Malachi Fields, working back to it. Dart throwing across his body. Just an unbelievable touchdown to the young rookie wide receiver. The other day I went down a wormhole watching a ton of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase highlights, and this is something they do a lot of. And it's when the wide receiver gets down the field and the cornerback's back is turned, it becomes almost a jump ball scenario. And kudos for Dart for recognizing it, but more importantly, this becomes a huge red zone option for the Giants entering the season. Let's think about last year, guys. In the red zone, who were the options? Neighbors for 4 games? Okay, I'll give you that. Theo Johnson for the full season, I'll give you that too. He was was very successful in the red zone last year, especially getting into the end zone. Malachi Fields is now a new red zone weapon. The legs that the Giants have not seen in quite some time. It's 6'4", 220. It came up, drafted him in the 3rd round. Looks like a huge W. I could not be more excited for Malachi Fields at this point. JJ McCarthy checks into the game. A lot of Giants fans shitting on JJ McCarthy. And the Giants fans recently too have been... let me just talk about Colton Hood actually real quick, because they got him for a defensive holding or something along those lines. And Deonte Banks also got a defensive holder on the same play. The thing with... great play by Chauncey Golston. The thing with Colton Hood, I'm giving him a free pass I'll give Colton Hood a free pass this year. I will go on the limb right now. In preseason game 1, he gets a free pass from me. The other guys aren't. The veterans that have been here for many years. Deonte Banks ain't getting a pass. Paulson Debo not getting a pass. Newsome injured. There's a lot of news or rumors about, should the Giants trade for Christian Gonzalez from the Patriots? Probably not, because for what you'd have to give up, but I don't know. These cornerbacks have a very big uphill battle. And the thing with the cornerback situation is, it's not like they haven't tried to fix it. They just keep adding to it, and it just doesn't work. I don't know if it's a development thing or they're just taking the wrong guys. You guys tell me. Drop a comment. I think Theo Johnson had a couple catches today. Where did he finish with? Just 1 for 6. So I think it was like a third down one. Bring a little bit of blitz here, trying to get home. Let's see, little coach Denard Wilson bringing some blitzes, dropping back. Alexander, Golson, guys coming everywhere. And then just running guys right back into the quarterback. You love that. Not much he could do. Oh, no, there's Alexander. McFadden. It was Jack Kelly. Yeah, here it is. Here's the Jack Kelly rep. Boom. Right into his lap. Jack Kelly, 6th-round pick out of BYU. If he does this, he might be playing a lot on Sundays. When you just throw a running back into a quarterback's lap like that, that gets you on the field. Obviously, we'll probably be seeing him play a lot of special teams, but shit. If he's going to lower and bring the boom like that, he could play. A lot of options for rotating guys here in that front 7 in the linebacker position. So if you look at Ben Sauls versus Zarada, definitely not saying his name right at all. Would have liked to see Zarada have that kick because he had the second half in this one. I would really like to see Razat. I can't say his name. I feel like I'm turning into a boomer. But have him have the second half and try to kick that long field goal just to see what he's about. Because if he couldn't make these field goals, then this is a battle. This is probably one of the most important battles in this preseason is kicking because of what's happened the last few years. And honestly, I think some of the kicking stuff fell so directly on Joe Shane and coaching for not having guys like ready to play in the event and the high probability of Graham Gano not being able to play. But this is a huge battle for me. The guys on mesh ran into each other. And then how about this line? This play is so wonky. All right, this is why I love preseason. This is why I love dumb shit. This is why I love an NBC broadcast. This is where I love an offense trying to figure it out. Here we go. Here's a mesh. Or it's not even a mesh route. You have like an inside cross and then the running back is coming out of the backfield and going to the left, but they run into each other. Trips, falls. Carson Wentz steps up, throws it. The yellow line has no idea what's going on because 2 guys tripped over each other from NBC. And the line's all over the place. And then you finish with Corey Black with a sheathing of the sword. What a wonky preseason play through and through. All right, and then we saw a lot of Brandon Allen. I did like to see Eric Gray and Turbo Miller come into this game. I've always kind of really liked Eric Gray since they drafted him out of Oklahoma. Some injuries, just didn't really get it in the field, play that much. Turbo Miller, obviously, we're all Turbo Miller guys. It's just a crowded running back room. Who knows? This might be the last chance for him, but I really root for both of those guys. And they both. This is the thing with this Giants team. There's veterans. There's guys that have been here for a long time. It's a really nice grab by Price and a good throw by Wentz because he was going to get hit. All right, let's just run through some high-level stuff here as some of the highlights are playing, and I give some more. I don't really need to talk about Brandon Allen, his 2 interceptions, 5 for 8, 45 yards. Jameis did his Jameis stuff. It was good to see Evan Neal out there at right guard, getting some burn. I think he actually did a pretty decent job. A lot of his reps I thought were good. This is a great rep for him. He's not the problem there. I don't need to talk about all the second and third string guys. I think we spoke a lot of the running backs. I guess the last thing I got to say is just really about Odell. Obviously Jameis missed the one where he had him for the 40-yard, the bomb downfield that he just didn't see him, was looking across the other way and completed a pass, I think, to Fields, but he had Odell open. So, it's not like they're not trying to get Odell the ball and try to make a case for him on this team. He did finish 2 receptions for 6 yards, had that slant on 3 targets. Just unfortunate. But yeah, I think this team has a lot to do. A lot more work needs to be done. Ardarius Washington, that's someone I want to talk about. I thought he looked he impressed me a lot in this game. Micah McFadden also, these are backup guys, but if they have to come in, I feel very confident with their ability to play right now through one game, albeit it being preseason. So that's all I got in today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of preseason game number 1. What are your hot takes? What do you think the Giants need to do a little bit better of? For me right now, it's got to be the secondary and the cornerback play. And then also just try to figure out maybe just game planning a little bit for the run. Obviously, feel like we've been saying that for a couple of years now. And then thirdly is just keep getting better. Get these young guys involved more. I think today was a huge confidence booster for a guy like Malachi Fields to come in and do what he did at this level. Shore some stuff up front and pass protection. And I think, we're on to the next preseason game, which will be versus the Dolphins next Saturday at 4 p.m. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend and week coming up.